If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is October the 4th, 2023, and today the topic is Marriage 2023. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Happy Wednesday. I hope that you all had a wonderful Tuesday. Mine was just fine. Yep, yesterday, I was just trying to complete some tasks. I had some things on my to-do list to get done, and I believe I got everything done, so to God be the glory for that. Some cool things that happened yesterday. I want to give a shout out to one of my homegirls. Her name is London. You guys have heard her on the GSL platform before, way back in the beginning. There's a couple of panel discussions featuring her and everything like that. But anywho, she decided to become a supporter yesterday, so to God be the glory. Thank you so much, sister. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that decides to become a supporter. I know I told people in the after show that somebody decided to become a supporter on YouTube as well. That is called the Love Seeker Society. So they get like extra things like, videos early, shout outs, things like that. So thank you to everybody that chooses to support. It's greatly appreciated. In any aspect, though, y'all, I'm not just financially. If you share, if you like, if you comment, whatever it is, I thank you and appreciate it. Speaking of, man, another cool thing or interesting thing that happened yesterday. The one slight moment I took to take a break yesterday. Here come my husband, and he's like, "Hey, come here, let me show you something real quick. Let me show you how you I can't remember how he said it, but he was like, how you." I wish I could remember how he said it, but anyway, I guess he said how you blowing up or whatever. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know what to expect, right? This guy comes and he shows me like a chat message just happening between him and a coworker. And apparently, I guess once he said my name and said GSL, she was familiar or whatever the case may be. I don't know if she Googled me or what, but then she just was like, oh, and X, Y, and Z. And, I guess she had made some type of comment like I'm getting big in the Christian world. I don't know about all of that. I'm just telling y'all what happened. So I mean that was interesting. It was interesting feedback to get. I was like, oh wow, somebody knew of me that didn't know. I mean, and I guess that's possible. I get it. You know what I mean? We hit 1,000 subscribers. I've been on different platforms, so perhaps you know what I mean. You just never know. I guess how far you reach, but. I don't know. That was interesting to get that feedback yesterday. And anything else yesterday of significance? My kid. Let me tell you guys about my son yesterday. So I told y'all on the opposite days of his class days, we've been doing like math apps and stuff like that. This kid is starting to do like at least recognize the numbers to be able to know like what it equals. Now obviously 5 plus 5, he got that pretty quick. So anything that equals 10, it seems like he's got it. But that's what I'm saying. Any other combination that equals 10, it seems like he got it. So I don't know if he's just muscle memory or whatever it is, but I was super proud of him yesterday. He didn't have to count on too many of the problems that we were working on. Like he ended up just choosing the answers. So man, look, to God be the glory, little man, growing in his wisdom and everything like that. Y'all know he's going to be 5 on Sunday. So that's another exciting thing. He gonna tell me yesterday talking about some birthdays take too long to come. I was like, yeah, once a year, kid, once a year. But you just like a few days away now. So you can do it. You can hold on for a couple more days. So yeah, that was a cool moment yesterday. I feel like some other stuff happened yesterday too, but I mean, maybe they're not of significance. Let's get into this conversation, y'all. Marriage 2023. Now, first of all, I know that I'm recording late. I woke up early / on time. It's just at some point I had to take a break mentally, and I think I don't know if I went to sleep. I probably, most likely, I ended up going back to sleep in the midst of my studying, and then woke back up, and then this title and everything like that had came into my heart and mind. Like, I already was thinking about the topic, but I was like, well, Lord, there's so many ways to go with it, because I can focus on the single people, because y'all know I got a heart for my single people, or I can, focus on married people. Like, where you want me to go with this, and then that's when I took a mental break, and then came back, and seemed to be the focus needs to be more so on the marrieds today. That if you're single, I feel like you can still get something in preparation, as well as some encouragement that I came across today for single people. So don't give up on this juice today, y'all. It could be a little salt for everybody, but I guess for those that desire marriage, this one's dedicated to you this morning, y'all. We know that, man. Look, 2023, man. Listen, people struggling with being single. They struggling with marriage. They struggling with dating. They struggle, like, the whole thing is a struggle. I know I tell y'all all the time different just observations that I've made. I've been in some different groups on Facebook, and soon as somebody say anything about marriage, like it seemed like, I hate to be like the men, but it seems like the men in the comment section will be like the most vocal and negative about it, and stuff like that. And then don't get me wrong, I've heard women have things to say about marriage as well. Now, I mean, listen, look, I tell y'all all the time, I'm not perfect, my husband's not perfect, but I do feel like he is perfect for me. And when I look at like pictures and things like that, I mean, we look picture perfect, as they say. Or I can see other couples out there that look picture perfect as well. Now, does that equate picture perfectness? No, because again, I've shared with you guys my ways that I fall short. I've shared with you guys some ways that my husband perhaps falls short, and you know what I mean. So it's just one of those things. But I think for me, the balance comes in where the things that we are great at, it outweighs the things that we may be failing at, quote unquote. And I guess this morning I was just thinking about this concept of being a helpmate and things of that nature. Like, I guess that's the one thing, or one of the things that comes from marriage that is a beautiful thing, that you have someone and there's partnership and being there to help each other, and to I guess show unconditional love to each other and things of that nature as well. I don't know how good of a helpmate I am. I guess my husband have to tell y'all all of that. But I can just at least share some of the things that I've been doing recently and whatnot. Because a lot of times, like, I've seen, he's definitely been a help to me. Like I feel like since the day we met, he was helping me. And if y'all should know that story already, how we met, but if you don't, long story short, real quick, literally, I was getting some stuff out of my car, and he came over to help. So, and that's how we met. So, there's some other details and whatnot, but so he's been helping me since the moment that we met. And oftentimes I ask him, like, how am I helping you? Can I be of assistance in any way? And sometimes it feels like the answer is no, because it seems like a lot of the things that I quote unquote thought, right, that wives should do, or that would be a quote unquote help to him, isn't what he is looking for from me, apparently. And so, I've had to kind of learn to cope with that, and to understand, okay, now what is it in particular that my husband needs? You know what I'm saying? Versus having a general idea of, well, men need this and women need that. And I've always said that, like, at some point we got to stop generalizing and start individualizing in some ways, Sure, you can make observations and some general conclusions based on data and things of that nature, but at the same time, it's just something about one-on-one interactions that is important, I feel like, and everything like that. So with that being said, one of the main things that I've had to learn in this 7 years of marriage is to again focus on my husband and his desires, his needs, the things that in particular for him, and get the idea out of my mind that, well, I thought all men wanted this, and I thought all men needed this, and I thought, get all that out of my mind. I have to focus on him as an individual. And so, for example, y'all know we praying for him in his career and everything like that. To get into software development or whatever it is that his heart desires. I say alongside whatever the purpose is that God created him for, as well. But with that being said, like lately, I've been like trying to look into opportunities for him to use his skills and use his talents and things of that nature. And I don't know the first thing about coding, or software development and whatnot. But when I see something that is remotely close to it, or something that, seems to be along the same lines, I'm trying to send it to him. I'm trying to motivate and things of that nature. And so, I mean, I guess I shared that example to say that, I mean, that's kind of how it might be. Like, just like he don't really know much about theater, and even though I think he's great at improv because he's, I mean, quick with responses. Like, he's one of those sarcastic, quick responder persons. But I mean, but he was there to assist me, in my shows in the past. Now he said he retired from doing my shows now, so I guess he just did that stuff to get me back in the day. But I mean, but you guys have seen that he's been here to assist me with a lot of my endeavors, like bouncing ideas or encouraging me. The reason, again, y'all got daily inspiration because he was the one that spoke it. You know what I mean? I was thinking maybe once a week or maybe once a month. He was like, well, successful people do it every day. And I'm like, well, Lord, what you want me to talk about every day? And then here I am doing the juice every day, and things of that nature. And so he's been my muse, right, in a variety of ways. And I hope that the things that I'm doing to assist him in his endeavors is being a help as well. And I guess that's one of the questions that we have to ask ourselves. If you have the desire to be married, then ask yourself, do you have the desire to help somebody? Because if you don't have the desire to help somebody, then you probably don't really got the desire to be married. Because that's not saying what it's all about, but it is a lot of what it is. And sometimes help to my husband, I guess, is just listening to him. Or just, being there in those times when he does need an ear, or whatever the case may be. Like that's what it's become to me, but again, focus on your spouse, right, and your particular husband or wife, whoever's listening to the sound of my voice, and then I guess go from there, because again, help to your spouse may be completely different than the help that my spouse appreciates. So just throwing it out there, let's get into some Bible verses, because I know y'all like Miracle just talking. So let me tell y'all some verses. Hebrews 13:4, it says, let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled, for God will judge the sexually immoral and adulterous. Yeah. Now, if I just focus on the first half of that, because I mean, we ain't talking about, look, on GSL, I'm not prepared to talk about the sexual side today, unless the Lord sees fit. But I think what stood out to me the most in this verse today is the part that's talking about the marriage being held in honor. Is marriage held in honor today in 2023? I mean, to some, I think, but not to all, and probably not to the majority. At least let the media tell it, right? And that's why I think, again, it's so important what we take in. Like, if you're taking in constant negative information regarding, the opposite sex and marriage and dating and all this different type of stuff, if you're taking in negative information about that at all times, then of course you're going to just spout out the negativity as well, and you might lean into those ideas. But if you're seeing, happy, thriving marriages, and you're surrounding yourself with, happy married couples, and, perhaps you're at a church that has the ministries and things of that nature, then of course you're going to value marriage. Of course you're going to hold it in honor and high regard and things of that nature. So just saying, I mean, one thing I will say about my husband is, I may not fully understand everything about the organization that he is a part of, but I can say that, it seems to be majority married folk, older gentlemen, that seem to have some respect for their wives. At least I've had, conversations with, a few couples where it seems like the respect is there, the love is there, the appreciation is there. And I'm grateful that he's surrounded by such gentlemen, because he could be surrounded by gentlemen that have the completely different mindset. And so, so just saying, let's hold marriage in high honor. If it's not in high honor, You know, not say you ain't ready for marriage, but just saying you might need to switch up your what you're intaking, and things of that nature, because it says let marriage be held in honor among all, and y'all know how I feel about that word all. It means all of us, you know, not just some of us and things like that. Let's keep going. So I ended up going to gotquestions.org. Y'all know that's like one of my main resources these days. And of course, there's a lot there in regards to marriage. But I'm going to share the ones that was kind of standing out to me. And one of the articles said, or is called rather, where is it? It's called, "If Marriage is So Difficult, Why Should I Even Consider It?" Check that article out, y'all. You know, it's pretty good, I think. Actually, there's some other ones as well. I might tell y'all those in a minute, but yeah, again, if you're that person that has that question, and I hope that that article will assist you and help you. One of the quotes that stood out to me that was in that article says, "The marriage vow is not a lifetime commitment to be loved. It is a vow to give love." Y'all might think that's Pope today, but I thought that was pretty good when I came across it this morning. Because at the end of the day, if both parties in the couple, right, have decided to give love, right, then they both will be receiving love. Can y'all? I mean, I don't know. I felt like that was an amen moment. Like, you know, I mean, if I am committing to give love to my husband and he is committing to give love to me, then nobody should be lacking love, according to my observations here. Now, I mean. Now, again, there might be a lot of things going on with that, you know, because I got to learn how to give love the way he needs love, and vice versa. And obviously give love in the way that God created love to be given and things of that nature. And there's plenty, again, when it comes to the whole sex thing and all of that the Bible has to say. I done shared it multiple times on here, but we ain't talking about that today. We just talking about the marriage part at the moment. So, but anyway, I thought that was a good quote to reflect on and to, I guess, get an understanding about. Because again, I think a lot of us come into the idea of marriage with the me, right? This is for me, and stuff like that. And I was feeling led at some point, and I guess I got to tell my husband this. 'Cause I was thinking about telling him this, but I guess I'm telling y'all first. Anyway, I was thinking about to tell him or to remind him that, you know, yes, meeting him, right, and the love he gives me has helped me get to another level of my faith and everything. Because again, to me, I think I showed y'all in the past, but here it is again, that the reason why is because meeting him was like confirmation in a lot of ways for all the prayers and things that I had written and prayed and whatnot when it came to the cultivation period, in my single days and whatnot. And so finally meeting this quote unquote dream man that I had been praying for and dreaming about was like, again, it was confirmation for me. It was like God telling me that, hey, I was here, I was listening, you know, I guess well done for the times that you did do good. Yeah, I ain't say I did everything good or anything like that, but I was trying. There was a moment in life that I was actively doing my best to try, and I feel like God honored all of that by, I guess, blessing you with everything that you guys see today. And so that multiplied my faith times 10, because I just was like, well, because I had been struggling with giving God, like, I guess, my life, you know what I mean? And just trusting him and saying, you know, and allowing him to lead me and guide me and write my story and things of that nature. I would be trying to either take the pen or take the wheel to say, you know, okay, yeah, Lord, I know I'm supposed to trust you with my career, but let me go over here and try to find all these things. Let me go over here and try to build my resume. Let me go over here and try to do X, Y, and Z. Because y'all know I have that balance between work and the faith. And I'm like, because I got to show my faith by doing more work. And don't get me wrong, that's important as well. But that's another conversation. What I'm talking about here is the part where, like, just knowing that I was struggling in that area with giving over different aspects of my life. But meeting him was, not say it didn't force me to give over more things, but it encouraged me to give over more things to God. Because I was like, Lord, you did this in my relationship, so what do you want to do with my career? So I started to give over those ideas and things to him. And this thing, I know y'all see where Miracle Plays is today. The most recent, well, technically we're nationwide, or technically we're international, because I sent a show to another country. So does that count? I mean, I think so. Anyway, to God be the glory for that. I almost forgot about that. But then recently, y'all know that I just I guess secured at least the first date of a potential, I guess you would say, contract of working with the theater that's in Griffin, Georgia, and things of that nature. So, you know what I'm saying? God has done a phenomenal thing, I would say, with my career, and things like that, and with the business that he's blessed me with and stuff. And so, and then I'm starting to like trust him more with finances. I'm like, well, Lord, let me, look, I know. Again, I took words out of my vocabulary to stop talking about over or stop speaking over my finances, and trusting God more in that area to be like, well, Lord, I'm going to make sure I be obedient to, giving and things of that nature, and just see what you want to do with my finances. And he's been going above and beyond, and blessing in that area as well. So, I guess what I'm sharing here is that the right person, right, will bring you closer to God rather than take you away from God. So that's one thing to consider as well, when you are, I guess, praying for your spouse or whatever the case may be. If you're single and you're out here praying for marriage and a spouse, then, keep those things on your heart and mind that, hey, at the end of the day, this person that comes into my life, they need to be enhancing my relationship with God and not taking away from it and things of that nature. That's why God should be in the center of all things. I know, again, that's a difficult thing. We done talked about that over the past couple of days about getting understanding and building that relationship with God. But yeah, just saying. Looks like I got a comment coming in, so I'll try to look at that while. Oh, this is my mama. My mama. Let's get some matriarchal wisdom from a matriarch. She says, I was thinking earlier before we left home about marriage and how important the roles are in our ministry. Amen. They are. It's very, very important roles, and everything like that. So, looked like we was on the same wavelength, me and my mama this morning, y'all. But yeah, it's just one of those things to think about, y'all. As I was reading, I think it was that article or maybe another one, but basically, it was talking about how marriage, or how important it was. It's like, in some ways, giving yourself up, even to death at some point. I know that you don't want to hear that, but this is what Ephesians 5:25 says. It says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Y'all know what Jesus did, and so if the husbands are tasked to do the same, then what do y'all think that means, so that's one thing to think about. And then, even though it does say husbands, I think it's equally as important what the Bible has to say about, what wives should do as well in this area. It didn't necessarily say give up yourself for your husband, but I didn't write down the verse that comes from. So y'all can go deeper and look into that on your own, because there's plenty to be said, obviously, about marriage, but then there's plenty of instructions for husbands and wives as individuals, that hopefully will help us when it comes to, the coming together in the oneness of the husband and wife. There's another article that I came across on GodQuestions.org that I think may be beneficial to check out. And that article is called, What is the Validity of Marriage in Today's World? Listen, the people try to say there's no point, right? Marriage is just a piece of paper, they say, and things of that nature. But we know that is way more than that. One. Two, people say, well, you go to work so you can get money every day, and that's just a piece of paper. I mean, y'all can go deeper about all of that, but I mean, it's very important. It's a very important covenant and things, and that's why it's very important who you choose as well, because I mean, there's plenty of examples of what it looks like to quote unquote choose wrong. And actually, there was an article about that as well. I didn't write it down, but if you guys keep going deeper on GodQuestions.org, you guys probably are going to come across the article that was about can you choose the wrong spouse and things of that nature. Sometimes you might feel that way. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes you be like, oh, did I choose wrong? Did I, X, Y, and Z. But I believe that article was rather encouraging. So I hope that you guys check it out if you so need to do. Let me share with you guys another verse. It's Genesis 2:20. It says, the man gave names to all livestock and to the kinds of the heavens, to the birds of the heavens, and to every beast in the field. But for Adam, there was not found a helper fit for him. So again, I was kind of talking about this earlier, but I mean, at the end of the day, again, if you don't have the desire to help somebody and things of that nature, then you're probably not ready for marriage, because that's what it seems to be about, being a helpmate. Now in this case, it was, Eve being created to be a helper to Adam, and things of that nature. Actually, there's another article that's called "What Does It Mean That a Wife is Supposed to Be a Helpmeet / Helpmeet?" All of this is in the Go Deeper section. You guys can go look at these things and peruse them and let them marinate on your heart, soul, and mind. But one thing that stood out to me as I was looking into that is that we know that there's this conflict between men and women. There's this thing that's trying to separate us, like separate the husbands and wives, separate families, separate, and that's a huge thing. Like if you, actually, I think I shared a thing this morning, was talking about if you, cut off the husband, then you done pretty much defeated the family, and things of that nature. So it's a very important role that the men play. But again, you guys can go deeper about all of this. But what we're supposed to be doing is complimenting one another. So there's another article about that as well. That it's not about tit for tat. You know what I mean? It's not about what I can get and things of that nature. It's about coming together and complimenting each other. I know even my husband, I did not know I was going to talk about this today, but anyway, I'm just going to tell y'all what happened. Yesterday, my husband and I were talking, and at some point I just was like, so I'm the one that handles the things that we want, and you the one that handles the things that we need, and that's why we working well and things of that nature. It's a balance there. And yeah, it was a joke, but I mean, we are supposed to compliment each other, y'all. Like we're supposed to be, maybe there's some things, again, there's things he's strong at that I might not be as strong, and there's things that I'm strong at that I can encourage him in, and that's what it's about, y'all. So at the end of the day, again, if you desire that and stuff, I mean, that's a wonderful, beautiful thing. Just try to prepare as much as you can. I know I did. I tried to prepare as much as I can. I'm sure there was still things once I got married that it's like, okay, I'm still learning and stuff. And, things I wasn't necessarily fully prepared for, or whatever the case may be. But, I mean, as much information as you can get before marriage is good, I would say. So, again, if you're somebody single listening to me right now, then, hey, I think all of these articles can benefit you when you become married and things of that nature. It will help you when choosing, I think, the spouse and all of that. So I hope that you guys take the time to go deeper about all the things I've shared. Let me say something to the single folk real quick. All right, because y'all know how I feel about y'all. You know what I'm saying? I was once one. And I struggled back then. Marriage is not for everybody. Right, so some of us may be called to singleness, as like Paul was. Jesus technically was called to singleness, I would say, and things of that nature as well. Even though you hear those narratives about something opposite, but according to the Bible, there ain't no confirmation there about Jesus being married or none of that type of stuff. And obviously, we know Jesus wouldn't have left no wife down here, but you know what I mean. Like anyway, y'all can go deeper about that, about how you feel about it, but I reject those notions of Jesus being married. And so being called to be single isn't a bad thing as well. You can still be as whole. Now, at the same time, I know the whole sex thing is iffy because, I get it. It's a struggle out here, But at the same time, I mean, yeah, if you're called to a life of singleness, then you're probably called to a life of celibacy. So if you don't feel like you're called to a life of celibacy, then you're probably called to a life of marriage. But anyway, just throwing that out there. But what I hope can be an encouraging to a single person is understanding that, you're no less human, you're no less beautifully and wonderfully made if you're single. If God has called you to singleness, it's probably because he has work for you to do for him that requires you to be single, to focus, or again, him, his will, his way, and things like that. Again, Paul, if he was married, do you think he would have reached all the countries and did all, and, had all the time to write all the, letters and all the stuff that we are studying today? Probably not. So just something to think about, y'all. I mean, everybody's not called to marriage, and, I think it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. And I think I definitely was called because I struggle so much. But I mean, just understand that may not be everybody's ministry, as they say. And so, and that's okay. And that's okay. Right. So y'all can go deeper about all these things. Matter of fact, another place to go deeper is openbible.info. As you guys can see, I didn't share too many verses today. That's because I felt led to tell y'all where to go, so y'all can find what the Lord wants you to know about it. And so go to openbible.info and just plug in the phrase, "What's the point of marriage?" and see what comes up and see where the Lord leads you. Because, that's the juice, y'all. That's the juice. I hope that this information helps y'all that, that are struggling or with this idea of marriage here in 2023. That's the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Mark 16:15. It says, "And he said unto them, Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love. You want to know some inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.